Hello, everybody, and welcome to Red 2 Chatter, the podcast, the show about everything Star Wars.
One of these days you'll get that
One
right.
of these. I did get it right, like, one time, and then that was it. We didn't just get back, but, like, last Thursday, right?
Yeah.
We saw Last Jedi, and this is a little bit of a late review because, you know, we can only really record on Tuesdays, so what can you do? But I guess I don't know how should we do this? What structure should we have for this
I think we just
review?
go right into a spoiler review.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody out there,
has probably already seen the movie.
if you haven't seen it already, you probably have already seen maybe a non-spoiler review. So,
yeah,
I mean, why even bother with a
But-
non-spoiler review at this point? Let's just go right to a spoiler
But you can
review.
start. We can start off maybe with like just your
overall
im-
impressions.
overall view of what we saw.
Or we can just
overall,
go from...
I don't want to go rating, but okay.
No, like
No, we'll go to that very
start with the
end.
good stuff and end with the bad stuff, or start with the bad stuff and end with the good stuff.
Because there were definitely both in this movie.
Yeah, it
No,
wasn't
the-
all good. No movie
No
is.
movie is all good. There's,
Right, so there's always...
Well, I think
Oh, man.
I think
Empire
the
Strikes
first
Back's
thing
close.
that we should talk about is
New Hope's closed.
how
No, but-
divided this movie has gotten people. The Star Wars fans community. You either like really love this movie, or you absolutely despise it, and that
I
seems to be
think-
like the two sides.
I think the people who really, really, really don't like it
Yeah,
are a small minority. They're loud because they're out talking
Yeah.
about it and like you hear about it a lot, but I don't think there's... Well, I mean, I guess the legs of the movie will... Like,
yeah,
how much money it makes over the next 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks will kind of tell that story.
yeah. I mean, it's being called the best Star Wars movie ever made, the worst Star Wars movie ever made. It's just
Right.
really big divide there in opinions. But for me, personally, I really liked it. I don't think it was the worst, and I don't think it was the best. I think it was really good, though. And I fully enjoyed it.
There's no way it's worse than friggin'
Attack of the
Attack
Clones.
of the Clones.
No.
Sorry.
No.
You can't get much worse than that one.
No.
That's a Star Wars movie.
Right.
There's other movies that are worse than Attack of the Clones.
Yeah. But
Right.
in the Star Wars,
Universe, yeah.
universe,
It's not. It's.
it's
Right.
not the worst.
I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie.
Same here.
Dogs are still outside, aren't they?
Yeah, they probably are. I'll probably have to go let them in soon. But anyway.
Jay.
Me, for me, I'm a bit in the middle.
Yeah.
There's parts of this movie I really love, and then there are parts that, okay, I wasn't too thrilled about. I thought, well, I mean, we can get into that later when we start getting into our
Spoilers.
deep, our deep thoughts on the
Yeah.
whole movie. But I think I'm a little bit below you guys as far as how much you like it, but I'm above like our sister.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. You know, I think if there's people who really don't like it and then people who absolutely love it, I'm closer to the
Love.
love part than the...
Yeah, I wouldn't say I
Yeah.
absolutely
No,
love
no,
it. There's definitely issues I have.
Oh,
with
yeah,
the
yeah,
movie.
definitely. It's definitely not in my, like, top 3.
No, it didn't make the top 4.
Yeah, probably it's my 4th favorite.
It's probably my 5th favorite.
It's probably my 4th.
The original
see, I need to
Force
see it.
Awakens
Well,
and then this.
Yeah, it's not going to beat any of the original trilogy for me.
Nope.
And it's probably not going to beat Force Awakens for me. It might be in there with the
Yeah,
Rogue
it probably
One.
is my 5th then. Yeah. It'd probably be tied with Rogue One if that's...
Yeah.
If we're bringing Rogue One into it.
Yeah, and Rogue One has to be included. I mean,
Yeah.
unless you only want to say the saga movies and
Saga,
not the story movies, but... All right, let's just get right into it.
All right.
Things you like, Don. Things you liked.
Okay, so this is spoilers.
Yep.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Uh,
Spoiler.
Fully loved Mark Hamill and Luke Skywalker. He was exactly what I thought he was going to be. I predicted this, that he was going to be like, no, I'm not, like, training you at all. Right? I was like, I freaking knew it. I knew that he was going to, like, Okay, I didn't expect him to throw off the
Throw the
lightsaber.
As he handed it to her,
Right.
looks at it and just chucks it over and just walks past her. Doesn't even say a word.
That was pretty good. And I gotta admit, I like his character arc, and that even though he's older and still very experienced, he still has things to learn. Because Yoda, yes, Yoda's in this movie, and it's probably my favorite scene in the entire film.
It is up there with mine too, as far as one of my favorite little bits of the movie.
Yeah. Basically, there's like this it's a force tree, I would assume.
Yeah, it is.
It has to be. And it has the ancient Jedi texts. And basically, Luke is gonna burn it down.
This is after Rey has left.
Yes, Rey's left.
He does train her, but he doesn't really train her.
No.
He just teaches. He gives her 3 things that he teaches her, and after that, she leaves to go help her friends that are in trouble.
Yeah.
And
akin to what he did in Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, he left to help his friends who were in trouble.
So there's a little bit of homage to, or a little bit of.
Oh yeah, there's yeah.
And those were some of
parallels.
my favorite points. Some of my favorite parts were some of the little nods. They weren't like in your face nods.
Little nods.
Yes.
To Empire Strikes Back
And other movies.
and other movies. Yeah.
Yep.
And so I really like that scene because it shows Yoda again.
Well,
'cause
yeah,
Yoda's
it
one of
also
my
shows
favorites.
Luke as being conflicted. He says, "Oh, I'm the last Jedi. Jedi needs the end." Blah blah blah. And then he goes to burn the tree and he can't do it.
Yep, no,
Right.
because he has the ancient Jedi texts,
And
and the funniest line in the whole movie is page turners. They were not.
They were not. Talking about the
Jedi text. It's like, read them, have you?
Yoda ends up summoning the Force and uses lightning from the sky to friggin' set the tree on fire. Because
Yep.
Luke couldn't do it.
Yep.
right.
Even though he
And
was
then Luke
unless
tries
you know
to
it's-
rush in there to get the text.
Yeah.
And then he gets blown out. Right.
Which is so totally funny because he's like the whole movie about how the Jedi need the end and this crap needs to go away, and then all of a sudden when it came down to it, he couldn't do it.
Right.
But
he
Yoda
couldn't let
could.
it go. Right.
Well,
and as we learned later, the texts weren't in there anyway when Yoda
Yes.
burnt it down.
the Battle of Crate did not go at all as I expected.
Yeah, it was kind of lackluster.
Actually, I quite liked it.
You liked it?
Because I was like, well, obviously, if they have these huge, ATs, AT-ATs, like charging it, why would they need ground troops to even try to go in? You know,
Right.
when they can just go and shoot the resistance ground troops easily and kill them all. So I get why there was no real big ground battle. It was again vehicles. I just hope one day we'll see a really good, ground battle, kind of like a Daisy or something, or D-Day.
Yeah, a D-Day type thing, or a World War I trench battle, real trench battle.
Right.
Something that would. That's something I would love to see in Star Wars as well.
Yeah.
Something similar to that, where it's like a real. You see it in the Clone Wars, the cartoon.
Uh-huh.
But I'd like to see it, in. I guess you saw it in Attack of the Clones. There's a big ground battle there.
But you don't really. Again, you don't really get to see much of it.
There's
Sure.
one in Phantom Menace as well.
Yeah, but that one's like
Gungans versus droids.
I want to see something a little cooler than Gungans versus droids.
I mean, it was all set up as a distraction anyway.
Yeah, it wasn't really
right.
Yeah. But no, I fully enjoyed this movie. I actually really liked how Kylo Ren and Rey are kind of connected with each other. Their minds are melded together with the Force, which later it's revealed that Snoke did that to them.
I don't think it was 100% him though, because at the very end of the movie,
they're still connected,
and
he's dead.
Snoke's dead.
Right.
So
But
I think he thought he was friggin' manipulating them, and he thought that he was all powerful, but he really wasn't doing it. I think they were doing it.
Yeah.
now, see, I have a different.
Unless he started it, but then they continued it.
They
and he didn't realize they
strengthened
were
it.
continuing. Yeah, I don't know.
So I think Snoke absolutely manipulated that entire thing. He was the one that set it up, just like he said. I was the one that brought
Connected
you two
to you.
together
Yeah.
through the Force. It was all my doing, you naive little girl and you idiot boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically telling them that they were, he's so much more powerful than they are. And I really like the stuff we get out of Snoke.
Yes.
But in the end, when you realize he's sort of just a red herring,
Yeah.
a placeholder basically for Kylo to take over, it's kind of dissatisfying for me.
Yeah. I mean,
That's one of the things Jordan had a big problem with was they built up Snoke. He was a really cool character. You started getting into him as an evil bad guy, and then he gets killed, and that's the end
Right.
of him.
And his death was completely shocking to me.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And I love the way it happened because to me it's like a perfect connection from what one of Obi-Wan's first lessons to Luke is when Luke puts on the blast shield, he's like, I can't see, how am I supposed to fight? It's like, your eyes can deceive you, don't trust them. Snoke was being manipulated by his own eyes, by what he was seeing, and what he was thinking were two different things.
Yeah.
But his eyes overrode what he was seeing in his mind as to what Kylo was doing. So it's like, to me, like I flash back instantly to that conversation with Obi-Wan and Luke, like, your eyes can deceive you, don't trust them.
Yeah.
It happened to Snoke right there. So that was, I mean, as far as his death goes and how it happened, I love that part.
yes.
As far as him sort of just being a red herring and not, like, didn't do much, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't like that part.
I could kind of make the argument, though, that the Emperor in the original series was kind of the same way. You never, yes, he was the big baddie that they had to take out in the end, but you never knew anything about him before the prequels. He was just kind of, it was this guy the whole time, and now he's dead.
I mean, it's true, but I think, like, his presence for me was more ominous than Snoke's was, and I think it's just because you only ever saw Snoke, or not Snoke, but the Emperor address Vader in the original films. There was always in private conversations, just the two of them, and they did that but Hux was also involved in some of those.
Yeah.
And they did that with Snoke, but Snoke just didn't seem to have that. Well, you already knew Vader was, like, immensely powerful.
Yeah.
And we know Kylo is sort of, like, not sure as to the extent of his power.
Yeah.
Like, what he's, capable of. So I think there's that difference, too.
Though, that whole fight scene in the throne room with Rey, Kylo, and all of the Praetorian guards, that was pretty cool.
No, that...
Yeah.
Oh, the scene was awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and...
Again, we get to see the guards do something.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Again,
that's something.
that scene was great, and then it sort of led into something that I didn't like about the film, was that it didn't show... It showed, Rey and Kylo fighting over the lightsaber, and it breaking in half, and them two getting basically knocked out. Obviously, Rey comes to first, but I wish we would have seen that. Her come to, pick up the two pieces of the lightsaber, decide what she's going to do with Kylo. Am I going to kill him?
Or
am I going to take him? Am I just going to leave him? Like, have her, see her struggle with that in her head, even if it's just on her face. And then maybe something happens, like other people start to come in and she has to leave. She can't take him or kill him.
Yeah.
She has to leave, and then she gets on
Snoke's
private ship and takes off. I would have rather have seen that than it just go from her there, or knowing that she got something happen to her, to, she's all of a sudden in the gunner position on the Millennium Falcon. How does she get there?
Well, and they do explain how she got away, but...
She took the
You're right.
Snoke's
It would have been nice to see that struggle to see whether or not she was going to be basically what Luke went through with Kylo. Do I kill him because he's really powerful, or do I let him go?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish I would have seen that same sort of struggle
that Luke
Rey
had.
Right, Rey had the same struggle that Luke had. I wish I would have seen that,
because that's kind of, they kind of reveal how Kylo and Luke's falling out happened.
Yeah,
and it's basically. Of course, there's two sides of the story. One's a little, one is half truth
on
one
Luke's
way,
side,
and one's half truth the
on
other
Kylo's
way.
side.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
You kind of see that they,
But it turns out both of them messed up.
Yeah,
and it was just
Luke started it, Kylo finished it.
Yes.
On the
and Luke,
the falling out.
even when, like, it was just a moment of weakness. And I know that this scene is actually very controversial in a lot of people's minds. They're like, oh, Luke's an idiot. Why would he do that? It's like, come on. After all that he's been through with the Emperor and his own dad, do you really think he wants to deal with the dark side again?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, when you're in that kind of position...
Especially he knows how powerful Kylo could potentially be.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was the...
I mean, I kind of saw it as kind of a PTSD type of thing. Where it's like, he kind of gets, like, you know, post-traumatic stress from seeing all this darkness inside of Kylo from his, like, you know, his own father and the Emperor. And he's like, and so he, like, out of pure instinct... he turns out on his lightsaber because he thinks that it's, you know...
the only way.
The only way. Because, right. I mean, that's how they took out the Emperor a little bit. So...
And he already knew, like, he explains it, like, he could already feel Kylo slipping away into the dark side.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, he did have a reason to do it, but then, you know, the light side took over in him, and he's like, I can't just kill him in his sleep.
Like,
I would just be...
just as bad as, you know...
him, yeah.
As any other person from the dark side.
Right.
And so Kylo...
But then, of course, Kylo sees him standing over him and...
gets scared.
Lightsabers come at each other and then boom. He blows up the freaking...
Can you believe that's the only time we see lightsabers clash in this entire movie?
Yeah.
We never get... There's no lightsaber.
No, there's no lightsaber on lightsaber fighting action.
It's just that the Praetorian Guards weapons.
Yep.
That have, like, little... red electricity going in them.
So they can block a lightsaber?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's just another energy source that blocks a lightsaber.
But I actually really like that scene because it made Luke human. You know?
Well, yeah, it, like, showed his sort of struggle.
Yeah.
Even, you know, it's his nephew, for one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he, you know, just like he said, or told Rey, eventually, he didn't tell him the first time.
Yeah.
Just like he told Rey, like, but again, that goes back to a certain point of view, you know. Luke was only going to reveal as much as he thought he needed to Rey because, well, he didn't know Rey and Kylo were communicating and that Kylo would give him his side of the story.
Sorry, yeah.
So he had to, you know, reveal what actually happened. So, yeah, I like that part because it just showed his struggle and his, you know, that moment of weakness he had, that this is the only way. And then, like you said, it was just a fleeting moment. It like, disappeared in an instant. As soon as he ignited the lightsaber, I bet it went away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but then Kylo reacted to it. And
right.
I
mean, because, what does Luke say? I just see a scared boy whose master had failed him. So he knew it was, you know... oops, that was my bad. Or that was, you know, that was just my instinct taking over from my actual logic. You know. And that happens sometimes with everybody. So this is one of the biggest things that people complain about with this movie is the comedy.
I thought it was
some of it was hit, like some of it
hit or miss.
Most of it hit. Some of it missed. That's for me. Like, most of it hit. There goes that. I really enjoyed... I really enjoyed...
It's all audio from here, people.
Yep. I really enjoyed, like, the stuff with on like, Octo, like, the Porgs. And I loved the caretakers. I thought they were hilarious. Like...
when stuff happened to them?
Yeah, when, you know, when... she shoots the wall and the bricks crumble down, and they're just like over there probably cursing in their own language, like, this freedom, what do you, you know, like, I still wouldn't.
When the rock fell down, when she cut the rocking down with the lightsaber and it fell and knocked over
the cart, and they just both slowly look up at her, like, see, I love that kind of like
those moments of comedy I liked. I didn't like the Poe moments of comedy in the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah, that was a bit...
with the phone call like thing? That was...
I mean, I know he's just trying to buy time.
Yeah.
There's other ways to do it besides...
Right, you didn't have to
cheesy.
bring... Right.
Yeah.
You could have just been like, sorry, I can't hear you. Like, you know, you could have just been you know, even if he'd just taken something and like crumpled it up, like you're breaking up.
Yeah.
Like that would have been more like natural
Fitting.
for me. Like a more
or even just like, sorry, what was that? There's a delay. You know, like that would have been funny too. If like there was like if he was acting like there was a delay between and not like responding in time to Hux's things, that would have been good too.
Yeah, instead of like
a modern phone joke.
Completely like disrespecting Hux
Yeah.
and doing all that stuff.
Yeah,
Like if I was Hux, I'd just want to blow him out of the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the issues I did have too. Is they kind of made Hux into a
Comedy
little
relief.
comedy relief guy, and that's not who he was. I mean, look at his speech in
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens. The guy's like killer.
I think we end up seeing Hux turn to go to the rebellion.
Think so?
In
In
9?
9. I think so. I think he'll just be tired of Kylo's crap.
Yeah.
Of throwing him around and...
Do you guys want to pause this for a second and we can go let the dogs in? Because I don't want to leave them out there in the cold.
Yeah, we can pause it. Watch. This is amazing. Ready?
Yep.
Stop.
I'm letting the dogs-
Okay, we are back. Yeah, so we were talking about comedy.
Yeah, and Hux possibly going to the light side
What-
in episode 9.
One of the jokes that I thought was funny at first, but then I was like, really? Was the clothes dry, or the, what is that called?
Oh, like an iron?
The iron coming down like a ship and going psss, and it turns out it's just ironing some clothes. I was like, that's a bit too Guardians of the Galaxy for me in my Star Wars movie, you know? Like, that was a bit too much Guardians of the Galaxy in a Star Wars movie. But other than that, I thought it was a very funny time joke. I thought, like, I found it funny at first. I did laugh at it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you're right. It was funny, but it's just a little misplaced.
Yeah.
For the movie.
Especially since it came out of nowhere, and it was when, you know, Finn, Rose, and DJ were
Basically stealing uniforms.
Yeah, stealing the uniforms.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of came out of nowhere, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about DJ. Let's actually talk about, like, some of the new characters. I really liked DJ. I really liked him for what we got of him.
Yeah, I wanted more.
Yeah, and I think we might get more in 9.
Maybe.
Because he does live. He does live. And I, like, probably one of my favorite things about him is the stutter. I thought that was such an interesting, you know, choice to take with that character. And I don't know if that was Benicio del Toro's decision to put that in the character, maybe to, like, kind of see what he could do with it, or if that was, you know, maybe one of the writers or Rian Johnson is a choice for that character. But either way, I really liked it, and I thought it was pretty unique for his character.
And, well...
And just the way he talks,
Just going
too.
into sort of that... Like, yeah, I liked DJ too, and Benicio del Toro's portrayal of him. I wanted to see more, I guess.
Yeah.
I did like sort of his reveal to Finn about, you know, who these people on Canto Bight are.
Yeah.
They're neither good nor bad. They're selling to both sides.
Both sides.
You know, they're working both sides just to make money. They're all in it for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but, you know, going with the Canto Bight stuff, I didn't really like... I love the chemistry between Finn and Rose and the development of that relationship.
Yeah, that was really good.
I didn't like the setting it took place in. I didn't like Canto Bight.
No,
I thought, I mean, it just was cheesy. It was like a 1940s, 20, you know.
Yeah, 1940s sort of
Casino.
Sort of like
casino.
Yeah, sort of like a Marilyn Monroe movie.
Yeah.
Like, vibe to it.
Yeah.
Just had that.
Yeah, it's too much posh.
I did like, though, kind of how, you know, it looks all light and fancy, but underneath it's actually really dark and
well, yeah, I mean,
disgusting.
You know,
and I did like that.
Yeah, that reveal from Rose to Finn is like, you know, Finn's enamored with it. He just loves it, you know. It's like, oh, everything's so shiny, you know. He's all about the
glam.
The bright, shiny, sparkly things, you know. And when Rose is like, you know, look deeper. Like, at what's really going on here. And then he finally gets the whole picture of, but
they use, like, you know, boy slaves,
you know, like the little
kid slaves,
the little short guy trying to feed quarters or whatever into BB-8. I thought that joke failed miserably.
Yeah,
Then BB-8 using those coins to shoot some police.
He got a guard.
Some police officers.
Well, distract him.
Yeah.
So DJ can hit him over the head.
The boot.
Was sort of like, okay.
Yeah. Or the thing, like when they're riding through the casino, and that like one big fat alien was like, oh.
Yeah, you didn't need that.
No,
right. That was unnecessary.
That was almost like a prequel type.
Yeah,
thing that took place right there.
The whole casino scene reminded me more of the prequels.
Yeah.
And once again, this is just my personal thing about Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams both is you have the scenes like Maz's castle, and you have this scene with the casino, and there's no homage, no throwback to any of the friggin' alien races that you saw in the original movies.
Yes.
Where are my Athorians? At least throw one guy in there.
Where are my Rhodians?
To just tie it all together, but it's all brand new. And I understand a lot of those guys were Outer Rim, and this is more interior galaxy, and the galaxies are huge, and there's lots of space, but
at least one at least one
race that we are familiar with from the original movies.
You're telling me
at a casino where there's hundreds and hundreds of different people,
especially Athorians, since they live, like, a lot of Athorians live on Coruscant, and Coruscant's in the Inner Rim.
Yeah, so
it would make sense to see some Athorians walking around.
Rhodians.
Rhodians.
I would just be, if I was Lucasfilms and friggin' some of these people that make these decisions, I would start thinking about sprinkling. It doesn't have to be like, it's all the same guys as you saw in friggin' the Cantina. No, just sprinkling a little bit of the original movies,
right?
So people feel like it's part of the universe. It's not just this is all new universe here. It's nothing. There's nothing.
Even put in some Pantorans.
Somebody didn't turn off their phone.
I don't know who I just F-buttoned, but
that's an
unknown number. No, because even if you want like high class, there's plenty of races to choose from. The Pantorans, for example. You remember those people from Clone Wars? The blue-skinned people with like the yellow markings.
Or you could even have some Kaminoans on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they would have been like rich,
high class,
and probably would be selling to both sides right now,
right?
If they're still around.
Maybe some Twi'leks, like blowing on some dice when they're throwing the dice at the table. You could have done so much with it.
And it just in both these movies, that's one thing. I mean, I know it's small, it's little, but it would be nice. If you pulled some stuff from, even if it was just from even the prequels too, pull some of those characters that you saw, like maybe that. Or races that you saw in that.
Like the Pantorans.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree with you. That was probably my least favorite thing. Was the
Canto Bite scene.
Yeah, because it didn't
feel like Star Wars.
No.
When they were running through,
pulled me out of the movie.
When they were running through the streets with the whatever those things are called. Like floppy ears or something like that.
Basically the horses that they were racing. They're not horses.
Yeah.
I like those creatures. That creature was freaking cool.
They are
because they could run right up the side of a cliff.
Yeah. They were like mountain goats, mixed with horses. But that whole scene where they were running through, like, I was like, this doesn't feel like Star Wars right now. This feels more like, I don't know, Star Trek kind of.
Especially with like the cops and their little like floaty little
helicopter type things. Yeah.
It just felt less Star Wars, more just pure sci-fi.
Yeah.
Like something I would watch on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also it just seemed to me like the only reason they even did all of that was for that end scene. For the very last scene in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're...
With the kid with the broom.
Yeah. yeah. With the kid with the broom.
Yeah.
Almost, yeah. I mean, besides having to find the person... But
they didn't even find the person they went to look for.
Yeah, they picked up somebody else.
Rian Johnson, do not make the next trilogy about that kid. Please.
Well, don't do... You definitely got to stay away from that, whatever that casino scene kind of stuff was, because that just didn't feel Star Wars to me.
Yes.
And if your whole movie is something like that, it's going to flop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
So-
a shame because I like the way that Rose and Finn interacted during that
Yes.
time.
And I like
It
how
was just
they
everything that
actually-
was kind of going on in the background didn't
In fact, I think, in my opinion, I think their relationship developed a little better than Rey and Finn.
Yeah.
Because I think they had more time with each other.
even though it was only about 4 hours.
Yeah, but still, they had more interaction. I think that they had more chemistry. And I don't know. I like that coupling better. And I hope that they stick to it.
The one thing I'm afraid of, though, is they're going to make Poe and friggin' Rey a thing.
Yeah.
Just by the
one interaction that they
had there at the end of the movie. He's like, introduces himself, and she's like, yeah, I'm Rey. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It's like, don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
But the other interesting thing is, like I said, when Snoke was manipulating them, but right there at the very end of the movie, towards the end of the movie, you had Rey, standing at the Millennium Falcon while everybody was, they were getting off, and Kylo was on his knees?
He was on his knees because he was holding the dice.
He was on one knee, I think. Maybe he was smiling.
Holding
and he looks up, and he's looking right at Rey, standing in that. And she's looking down at him.
And then she just goes,
they don't say anything,
boom!
But she just hits the door to close it on him, meaning, we might have been able to work together to make the galaxy better, but it's over now.
Right.
Now, one of the things that I actually really like about this movie is the difference between dark side and light side, even though it's not really that. It's more light gray and dark gray, more like. Yeah. It's not even full black, full white.
No, not anymore. Not with Rey and Kylo. Because they both have conflict within them.
You know how
go either way.
The darker side is more emotional and more, more emotional and more passionate, while the light side is more, toned down and logical. It seems to be switched around. It seems that Rey is more emotional and more kind of, I don't know, how do you put that? More, I don't know how to put it. More emotional. She's got more emotions, it seems. She shows more emotion than Kylo does.
Yeah, she's more adapted, going towards the emotion and using the emotions to help her fight.
She's in more control of it, though.
Yeah, but she has control over her emotions.
Right.
Yeah.
But she also uses her emotions.
Well, I mean, it was that first scene where Kylo and Rey first see each other through the Force that I kind of saw this, is that she's yelling at him, using her anger and just yelling at him, while he's just completely calm and just laid back. And I thought it was kind of I thought it was a cool switch up of the roles that you usually see. Yeah.
So, okay, here's a question I have. Do you guys like the idea of expanding what the Force can do? Because they definitely did that in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Instead of just moving objects and maybe making your reflexes faster, and then the occasional
force jump
or the mind manipulation
or lightning
or force lightning, they added some things into this movie that you'd never seen before. And I was just wondering if you like the expansion of what the Force can do, or is it getting a little too much? Because the communicating over long distances, actually being able to see one another while you're still alive, that wasn't ever capable before. I mean, you could do a little bit, like Obi-Wan could talk to Luke, but that was when he was dead too.
Right.
So all that stuff was more when you were dead that you could communicate. I guess it wouldn't be over long distances because you're dead, so you're within the Force, which is everywhere.
Yeah.
But you can feel over.
Yes, you can feel over long distances.
Because, Luke did communicate with Leia.
Leia, because in Empire Strikes Back, he calls for her to come back, and she does.
Right.
Yep.
So there's that connection, but this one was full on being able to see one another and actually sit down and touch each other, because they actually touched hands. Rey and Kylo did. I mean, was that going too far? Or
I personally really liked it. I thought it was a cool, different power to the Force. I thought it expanded it a great deal, and I actually quite liked that power. Probably another favorite scene of mine, just for the surreal factor alone, is when she's touching, like, I'm just going to call it the black mirror, because that's what it looks like to me.
Down in where the dark area is on the island.
And she sees herself, like, 1,000 times, and, like, they all do the same motions in, like, a wave.
It's just a mirror. It's just like, time delayed.
Yeah.
It's like click, click, click,
and
click, click, click.
Yeah, click, 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 click. Yeah, I really like that scene.
No, that scene was super trippy, and I actually like that scene a lot, too. And it kind of revealed, sort of what Rey is all about. It's like her parents.
Yes.
And then when she just sees a reflection of herself,
kind of gives you a little bit of foreshadowing as to who her parents were.
Who do you think her parents are? The people that Kylo explained
I
to her?
don't think that's right.
That isn't right. That's a complete manipulation by
Kylo.
By Snoke.
Oh, by Snoke? I think it's by Kylo
so?
and by Snoke, yeah.
Yeah, Snoke already told Rey that he was manipulating the entire thing and, like, allowed them to come together through the Force, their minds, and to communicate. So he was feeding Rey bad information, like when they touched hands, and she saw as clear as day that Kylo was going to turn to the light side again after, like he could be turned back to the light side and that he would be turned back to the light side, which we all know the future is always clouded because Yoda tells us so.
Mm-hmm.
So the future's hard to see.
Yeah.
So in that moment, I'm like, okay, well, she can see the future. It can't be that crystal clear, but it is because Snoke's manipulating her mind to see it that clearly. I think on the other hand, he's using Rey's greatest fear, which is her parents, and losing them, and feeding that into Kylo, making her try to turn her to the dark side by getting her angry.
If Luke is
using her anger.
If Luke is her father, it doesn't really matter now because he's dead.
Right.
So, I mean...
But I still am holding on hope that Luke is still Rey's father.
That's another good question.
Is he really, really dead? Because he didn't... Okay. So this is what I had. This is the issue I have with that.
He became one with the Force.
He became one with the Force, but it didn't because of his old age or because of anything like that. It was because of his choice to become one with the Force. So can he come back out of the Force to become human again?
What I think...
That's what I'm always... That's what totally threw me for a trip, because I'm like, is he really completely 100% Force ghost now if he comes back? Or can he come back as himself because he's that powerful with the Force and now he's... I don't know.
How I interpreted that scene was he used up every single last drop of the Force that he had within
strength
within
to
him.
Use the Force, yeah.
Yeah, like he used every last drop, and his body just
gave up,
couldn't take it.
But that doesn't make sense though, because why would he sit back up and sit? I could see that maybe if he was still on the ground on his knees and he was struggling. But he got all the way back up and set back up onto the rock. And then was just looking out at the light.
After listening to both of yours, I kind of
somewhere in the middle.
It makes me think that in that moment where he is transcending the galaxy with his, people think he's there.
That's another new Force thing. Ability was he used so much Force that he could make himself appear like he was actually on Crate when he wasn't there.
Items too.
And he
he
made himself appear like he would have appeared when he left those people.
Yes.
Yeah, he
was
young.
Young
Cut his hair.
He wasn't disheveled. He wasn't grayed.
He had his black outfit on.
He was as they probably remembered him.
Yeah, like Leia would have remembered.
Right.
But
Kylo would have remembered him.
Do you think that Leia knew he wasn't really there?
Yes.
She had to have known he wasn't really there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even though he could touch her, he could, she could feel him.
I think she knew
that's
he
not
wasn't
really
there.
him.
Right. That's why it was so easy for her to let him go out there alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it didn't bother her. Right. It's like, because otherwise she'd be like, no, you're not going out there by yourself. I'm sending people to help you.
Right.
And he went out by himself.
Right. Kylo was the one that was most manipulated by that. He thought he was actually there.
There, yeah.
And even after taking the entire bombardment from all the walkers, he was still there.
Yeah.
But I think in that moment when he's using that power, possibly he's discovered a way to wink himself out and become one with the Force, and then also be able to come back.
That's what that's just my theory, but I could be 100% wrong.
Like,
I don't think he's dead. I think he's somewhere in between life and death.
One reason, he has no way off that island.
No.
His
X-Wing is underwater.
Yeah, he's
probably ruined.
It's all rusted through.
So maybe now through the Force, he can just move through the Force like his entire.
He can just teleport.
Maybe he didn't actually die right there. Everybody's thinking he's dead. Maybe he just he took himself somewhere else in the world or in the universe.
Galaxy.
Yeah, he's now
to a new hiding place or
Tatooine. No one will find him there.
I mean, you never know.
That's what I think.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, I just don't think he's actually dead.
No,
people thinking he's dead. I think they're
wrong. Yep.
I think he was the ability to become one with the Force, but he can also pull himself out of the Force and back into a sentient being by himself.
Right.
Yeah.
And a living, breathing creature.
Another great thing that I saw used with the Force that I really, really loved was when Leia got shot out of the.
Yeah.
And she used the Force to pull herself.
That gave me chills a little bit because I was like, oh, she's, you've never seen Leia use the Force ever.
Not in a physical manner.
No.
Like through her head a little bit.
Yeah. But this was full on out there, and the Force, she uses the Force to protect herself from the vacuum of space.
Yeah. And I mean, it could have been one of two things. Either Luke taught her how to do that,
pure instinct,
or it was pure fight or flight, and she
use the Force or die type thing.
Yeah,
yep. I think that's what it was pure using the Force because she had to use the Force.
Yeah,
to me,
it still drained her.
Yeah,
right. But to me, it raised another question about Return of the Jedi. Did Palpatine, when he fell into that shaft, actually die? Because could he have just done the same thing Leia did?
Yeah, stopped himself and landed somewhere.
Yeah.
And then escaped from the...
right. I mean, you see that
the
come up. So maybe, I'm of the mind that, yes, the Emperor's dead. So
yeah.
But it just raised that little question in my mind. Could he have done that? Could he have survived?
Force lightning to propel himself up, water ski, like the water, high pressure water.
And that's what shot up out of
yeah.
It wasn't actually him hitting the ground and dying.
It was the lightning hitting the stuff.
It just raised the question when I saw that happen, because in that moment I thought, oh, oops, Leia's dead, and we're not going to get that scene of her on Crate. They're going to have taken that out.
Yeah,
we saw in the trailer,
Yeah.
See the blast door shutting on the base on Crate, and she's there.
That was one of the coolest images.
Well, she can't be dead because we see that later and it hasn't happened yet.
Two is when you see Leia's eyes above her coat. That was one of the coolest images.
I didn't even think of that. I totally thought, man, they killed her off quick. Like when I first saw it, I was like, man, she died fast.
They killed Admiral Akbar off quick. Poor Admiral Akbar.
Yeah.
He got killed. He got blown up.
He got sucked into space.
To me, my biggest issue with this movie, and it has to do with the three storylines. You have one storyline, well, there's four really, but two are connected. You have the one storyline that takes place over basically 18 hours, and that is the ship running away from the First Order fleet.
Yeah.
You have the little bit in the middle with Rey, or with Poe and, not Poe, with Finn and Rose. That's 4 hours long.
Yep.
That, that's actually towards the end of the 18 hours, so it's not in the middle, but it's over here. And then you have Rey's part, and then you have Kylo's part. And that takes place over days, weeks, maybe even months.
But then again, that's Octo.
Yeah, it does, though, because we see darkness on Octo, and we see light.
But again, that could be the planet's orbit. That could be just the day and night cycle of Octo.
But you're right, though.
Is 18 hours? So 6 hours is a day?
I guess.
You're right, though, because she follows him on his daily routine more than once.
Right.
How does that work? Because I don't understand that then.
There has to be a time difference. Like, the time that...
I didn't even think about that.
The time that they fled their
Yeah,
base.
I think that was before the whole stuff with.
Yeah, it had to have
Rey
taken...
stuff had to have taken place before they were fleeing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the timeline doesn't match
Right.
up. It's totally askew.
Right, and I'm just trying to think about the timeline as far as Kylo and... When Hux finally goes to Snoke we have them on a string.
Yep.
Because they've discovered how to track people through hyperspace.
Yep.
How much had Kylo and Rey communicated prior to that?
None.
I'm pretty sure none.
So the timeline is completely screwed up because...
Yes,
and this is the biggest issue I had with the movie is that the times aren't lining up with what they're able to accomplish.
Because I'm pretty sure they hadn't talked to each other at all yet. When Hux was there.
I think
if they have,
because
it's
remember
the very first scene, but then
that's he gets the first time that she talks to him, he's getting his scar all stitched up.
Yeah,
right. So
and
it's
he's getting
after
rid
he
of that.
removed his helmet in front of and smashed it
with smoke.
Yep.
Yeah, and then that's when he was in there talking about.
Or did that happen after?
No, that's when he's talking about we have him on a string because then Kylo walks in, and they pass each other, and old what's his name, kind of gives him that little smile.
You're right.
And then he walks in there and he calls him basically take that ridiculous thing off.
Yep. I
Right?
think okay. So
everything happens over 18 hours.
I've seen this movie twice.
Okay,
I
okay.
still don't remember exactly.
I think this is how it goes. Because the first time that Rey sees Kylo is after a night on Octo. It's she's sleeping in the.
It's multiple nights because she's now inside of a room because the first night she wakes up she's still laying outside. Right. So it's multiple nights because.
So that's before.
Yes.
And then so when she meets Luke. That's before. When she goes through his daily routine, that's before. When he finally says, okay, fine.
3 lessons.
That's before.
Of why the Jedi should end. That's all before.
That's all before.
So I think the timeline might work.
Yeah, I think it might work.
I'm going to have to see it a third time.
Watch it
yeah, I think it might work. If it's like that, then it might work.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch it again too for that timeline. Hopefully, it's not screwed up because that will really screw up the movie.
Bella, be careful.
Yeah, because really, aside from that, like that little bit of confusion for me, it's not on.
Yeah, I know, but I just don't want her knocking it over.
It was like how, because they put a construct on it. They have 18 hours of fuel.
Yeah.
Right there, you have like.
A set time limit.
A set timeline.
Yep.
Like a definite beginning and a definite end to when they finally get off the ship and Holdo turns it around and activates light speed through Snoke's ship, which was one of the coolest scenes in the movie for me.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Like, I just loved the way the audience reacted.
Yeah.
It was like total silence.
And the screen was completely silent. Nothing. There was no noise.
Yeah.
There was no
But eventually, at the end, you hear people going...
Right. Yeah. So
that was one of the coolest shots in the movie.
Yeah, that was a cool scene. She should have done it 10 minutes earlier, but...
Yeah.
As soon as they started taking out this
in hindsight,
shovels.
Now they should have friggin' had Leia do it.
Hindsight's always 2020.
If you'd have known Carrie Fisher was going to pass away, it would have been like the perfect way for Leia to go out.
And Tel and I were talking about this. Like, they could have used that scene where she gets sucked out into space as her final scene. Just cut it and put it in as she turns the ship around. Snoke's ship takes her out, but it's already too late. It's engaged hyperspace. She gets sucked out. The ship gets sucked into hyperspace, and she's dead then. And then not have any of the stuff that happened on Crate. Replace her with Amlin Holdo. On Crate.
Yeah.
Like, they would have to have reshot some stuff.
But then again, we would have never had the reuniting between Luke and Leia.
You would have lost that.
You would have lost that part.
And I think that's the reason why they didn't do it.
Yeah. It's because they wanted to see Luke and Leia reunited at least once more.
And you also would have had to explain why she was injured, though. Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, why she
she's
was in the on the cane and stuff.
Yeah, she was in the hospital
And
gown. But you could easily have done that.
Look how early, like, she recovered fairly quickly. I mean, to be able to go from out in space. Of course, who knows how much the Force protected her, to being able to walk in and stun Poe off the bridge.
Now, this was an issue I did have with it, was Poe was kind of a douche.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he is a douche. I mean, I think his character is
It's supposed to be.
meant to be a douche.
Kind of a cocky jerk.
And
But he was like just a little bit over the top in this one.
not cocky in the sense of like Han Solo cocky, just like cocky
Like you're gonna get yourself killed
for the
type
sake of
cocky,
being
yeah.
cocky. Like,
Yeah, I
What do you-
had an issue with him just like totally like undercutting the
Now I
the
can.
leadership. But I can understand.
Yeah,
that
I can
he wants to
understand.
know what the hell they're gonna do, and
Holdo's not
won't
telling him
tell
anything.
him. So that would drive me nuts too.
Especially when your
your life's at stake.
And especially when you're used to be under Leia. You're
Who
used
tells-
to being under
Right,
Leia.
there was
tells
a
her everything.
communication.
Yeah.
You know, he tells.
So
she
I-
told him everything.
I get where he's coming from. in
Yeah,
that
he
sense.
lost his
Stop.
the confidence or that confidence or the
Yeah.
the
That-
trust between him
yeah.
and Leia, and now he doesn't have it with Holdo, so he's not getting any information, and
Right.
it just drives him crazy.
right, it just drives him crazy. So he's acting out on his own
Yeah.
to try to do what he thinks
Is right.
Leia would do. But
Yeah. But
do-
not really. Yeah. So, yeah, I get where I get what you're saying. But I mean, I like Poe. I admit that he was a bit of a jerk in this episode of Star Wars. It is technically an episode, but yeah, I will admit. Yeah.
What's funny though is
Episode 8.
they didn't even need any of the stuff that. If you watch the movie, the whole stuff that Rose and Finn do is pointless.
Yes, they did end up needing it
At all.
because they weren't going to make it anyway.
Yeah. So it's like that made that whole like just going against authority and all this stuff. I don't know.
It kind of fell flat.
That whole the only reason you did that whole scene was to get Rose and Finn's relationship, and that's the only reason for it now.
Right, and maybe for the final scene, and to get the conflict or the battle between Phasma and Finn.
Speaking of which,
Here we go.
okay, well, first of all, Phasma's not dead. I don't believe it for a second, considering what her armor is made out of.
No, I don't think she's dead either.
Her armor is made out of the hull of a Naboo ship. I don't think that it's going to... I don't think it's going to get burned by some fire.
She might have one messed up eye.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because that's
She
exposed.
might get, like, a little bit of Two-Face going. But, like, no, she's not dead. And like I predicted, Phasma wiped the floor with Finn, but then he got a cheap shot out on her, like a little coward, and that's how he won. So, he didn't win fairly. Phasma's still awesome. And, yeah, because, I mean, like, Rose shoots at her, and it just goes, ping!
Yeah,
Just bounces right off of her, because it's the whole of a ship. Like, you can't penetrate that with some
a hand laser is not going to do it.
Yeah. Little hand blaster isn't going to do anything. So, I don't think Phasma's dead for a second. I think that she might have gotten out on a ship and just flew off.
I mean, yeah.
And she might meet up with Hux and Kylo later.
Yeah.
Or,
you never know.
Considering her character, she might just go
on her
own, or she might try to get into the Resistance because but then again, I don't think so because she sees them as the losing side. Basically, how Phasma works is that Phasma, she goes with whoever's winning in that moment.
She's a bit like Thrawn in that.
Yeah, but a lot
aspect.
more evil than Thrawn.
Well, more in it for herself. Thrawn is in it for his people.
More selfish than Thrawn.
Thrawn is in it for his race.
Yeah. Once the Resistance starts like turning it around, I could see her being like, bye, like maybe like if Hux is about to die or something, and she just goes, not my problem, just walks off. And lets Hux die.
I mean, just not to get too far into predictions for episode 9 already, but I think Hux and Phasma are gonna. Hux is gonna convince Phasma to switch.
I could see. Then again,
rebellion.
I could see Phasma going with Hux since she was a good friend of his father's. So I could see her deciding to go with Hux over Kylo because I think she has more loyalty to Hux than Kylo.
No. Okay, here's a question then about all this like future stuff. Since you brought it up, how do you feel about Kylo Ren being the main bad
villain
guy now? I mean, they don't have anyone else.
I don't think that he's gonna be.
I just don't see him. His character is hard to make into a ruthless bad guy.
I don't think he's gonna be 100%.
But then you don't have
because.
But then you're gonna have. I just don't see where this next movie's gonna go. It's hard for me to see the future is cloudy, definitely, and where they're going with these movies.
What do we know about the Knights of Ren?
That's the thing that's got to come into play.
It's got
to come into play in episode 9. It's got to.
He says he took. Luke says he took several of my students. Killed the rest. Those several of his students
became the Knights of Ren.
It has to be the Knights of Ren.
Right. So I think they were out there doing their own things. And I think once they realize Kylo has the control,
they're so glad they're going
to call him back.
So glad they didn't make them into the Praetorian Guards.
Yeah.
No, I think the Praetorian Guards were their own thing.
Yes.
Yep. They weren't the Knights of Ren turned into the Praetorian Guards. I think the Knights of Ren, I think we're going to see that come in
9
and maybe that they're all leaders of their own little factions.
That would be
cool.
The
First Order.
That would be cool.
And maybe have their own types
J.J.
of
Abrams,
troops.
if you're listening.
J.J.
I know
Abrams,
you just
please.
pitched your first story to Disney, but
like, come on.
Knights of Ren.
That's
made
the only way
the Knights of
that I
Ren.
can see it happening.
So like,
and it is Abrams' brainchild of the Knights of Ren. So. And Johnson didn't use them, so here's his opportunity to really make them into something.
Now, do you think that they kept in the thing? Because you know how each of the directors always ask each other, hey, can you put this little tiny detail in?
So yeah, keep this there, keep that there.
Do you think they kept it in? Because Colin Trevorrow?
No. The movie that Colin Trevorrow was going to write is done. Like, that's
gone.
Out.
But do you think J.J. Abrams might have told
because
Johnson?
J.J. Abrams hasn't, and
didn't have enough
Terry
time.
Haven't fully written that script yet, so I don't think they had enough time before Rian Johnson was
done.
It was in the can. I don't think so.
Okay.
So J.J. Abrams is gonna have to play with what Rian Johnson
left him.
Yeah, and there's not much there.
When you
the
think about
resistance
it,
is like 12 people.
He's gonna have
maybe
to
20.
Right.
Yeah, like it. Yeah,
they all fit on the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, it's like 20 people left.
Yeah, the resistance is wiped out.
They're all on one ship.
Okay, one thing though is like they destroyed Coruscant. So what? That just means that all of the other planets just go, okay, we're siding with you now, First Order. Yeah, we had a good run as the Republic, but since you destroyed Coruscant with that big scary weapon, that's now destroyed, and we have no real reason to be scared of you anymore.
Well, even the big ships destroyed. Snoke's big ships destroyed. I mean, the First Order.
When they destroyed Coruscant.
Oh,
in Force Awakens, they destroyed Coruscant and the Republic.
Yeah,
and that's
one of the blasts that comes.
But the problem is
like that's just Hosnian Prime.
No, that's Coruscant that they destroy.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Hosnian Prime.
It is. That's
where the Republic was.
That
not on Coruscant.
That's the name of the system. Is Hosnian Prime.
I'll have to look it up.
Hold up a second.
I don't think they destroyed Coruscant. But anyway.
But yeah, there's just unless Snoke and that wasn't his full force. I'm guessing it's not. But that's got to be the majority of his friggin' fleet because he wouldn't go anywhere without, like the Emperor never went anywhere without the majority of the Star Destroyers. Right. So
yeah, I'm sure Snoke has other. I'm sure that the First Order has other
ships
scattered throughout the galaxy doing other things.
Yeah, because you
maintaining control elsewhere.
Yeah, otherwise you can't maintain control.
Yeah.
So yeah, just the future is cloudy.
Right.
on where you're going to go with this last movie.
Yeah, I mean, when you really, really get down to the nuts and bolts of it, Rian Johnson did not leave J.J. Abrams with much to work with.
That's why there's got to be a major time skip in this next movie.
There has to be a major time skip. And I think that's why we're going to get, unfortunately, Leia is dead in the crawl text. Like,
yeah, you're not going to
since the passing of Leia.
All right.
Yeah,
you were right, Jay. Apologies. They didn't destroy it. Because I just looked at, like, the whole history of Coruscant, and it doesn't say anywhere here that it got destroyed. So you're right, but still, they destroy Hosnium Prime, and all of the other systems just go, oh, we give up. Time to defect.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that's basically what the opening crawl said.
I think that the Republic, like, there was split.
Yeah.
Half of it was for the First Order. Half of it was, well, part of it was backing the Resistance.
Yeah.
Well, they destroyed the part that was backing the Resistance. Mm-hmm. And I think that's...
Yeah.
Politically, that damaged the Resistance to a point where they couldn't get any other help when they called for help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody came,
except for one Millennium Falcon.
Now, one thing that I will say about Kylo Ren is, I think that they're going to try make him into a little bit of a sympathetic villain, because in that final scene where he comes in, he picks up the dice, and they just
Millennium Falcon,
the Millennium Falcon
Han Solo's dice.
Yep, and they just fade away. And then he looks
up
at Rey.
Part of the image
that Luke was projecting.
And then he looks up at Rey, and Rey leaves him, and he's just left there by himself.
Yeah, now he's got it.
And now he's alone.
Yeah, now he's like 100% alone because he doesn't have Snoke to back him either. So
Hux is probably going to be constantly trying to work behind his back.
Hux almost shot him if he would have stayed unconscious much longer.
Yeah,
Hux was ready to kill him.
Hux was ready to kill him off just so
and
he
take his place.
Take his place, right. And become the leader of
Supreme
the
leader. Now, I think that there might be some mutiny going to happen.
That's why I agree with you guys that Hux might flip flop because him and Kylo just don't get along.
No,
right? They don't see things the same way. They're loyal to the First Order, but they are both just loyal to Snoke. Now that Snoke's gone, Hux has no loyalty to necessarily, I don't think, to the First Order. I think he could just switch, like, well, we're not doing, this isn't the right way to go. Maybe he believed in Snoke's vision. He won't believe in Kylo's vision.
Yeah.
And maybe he doesn't go completely over to the resistance side, but maybe helps them out a little bit to try to get rid of Kylo.
Kind of like a Callus
maybe
type of character.
Yeah, he might turn into a Callus type character.
Yeah.
Kind of like Fulcrum. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, where he's undermining the First Order from within.
Right.
Yeah. So I think we talked about... Oh, I guess we can talk about what you got... Final impressions on the Porgs.
I liked them.
Me too.
I thought it was hilarious. I thought they were funny little creatures. They were cool little creatures. When friggin' Chewie's gonna eat one, and they're all standing there.
See, now that comedy worked.
Yes,
that was like the good comedy because he's like, so he screams at them and they all fly away, and he goes back to eating another. He's got a roasted pork over the fire. He's about eating it. There's another one. He looks at it. There's another one sitting over there and it's starting to cry. It's like whimpering, and he's like, oh, and then like it runs away or flies away, and then he's like sitting there looking at it, and he's like.
Dang
I can't eat it now. Darn it.
I can't eat it now, thanks.
Yeah, he was all ready to start chowing down on some pork.
I did think they underutilized Chewie in this movie. Although
I did like
seeing him pilot the ship solo by himself. And solo, no pun intended. Because you see Rey do it, and she struggles because she can't reach the other side. Chewie can just reach the other side.
Yeah.
He can control everything from over here and from over there.
Yeah, because he's got such long arms.
Yep.
I liked Chewie's part though, where he, Rey's knocking on the door, and Chewie's like, I'm sure outside he's like, back up. Boom! Knocks down the door and comes in and just roars at Luke. Like, stop being stupid. And I like that part a lot.
And I like the reunion with Luke and
R2-D2.
Yeah.
That part was really good, getting to see that classic...
That was a special moment.
That classic, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. That part tugged at the...
That's what pushed him into training her.
tugged at the heartstrings a
that
little.
little bit of comedy worked too.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, just that little snip there.
That was a cheap
No,
move.
that was a
right.
cheap
That
move.
was cheap.
Yeah.
Isn't that when he decided to train her though?
Yeah,
'Cause he goes back out of the Millennium Falcon.
so-
He's like 3 lessons.
What were the 3 lessons?
First one was
Reach out.
reach
Reach out.
Tickle your
What
hand.
do you see?
that was funny.
Okay,
too.
that
I
was
like
funny.
part.
No, I like because he knew it was going to happen. That's why he picked up that
Yeah.
leaf.
He was
Yeah.
just he was
knew
just
when
having
she
fun
asked her to reach out, she was going to
reaches
go
out
like
with her
this.
hand.
with a naive little girl.
Like, and so he like tickles her hand with
I
that
found that
leaf, and
perfectly-
she's like, "I can feel it, I can feel
Right.
it." And he smacks her. That's not what you meant. No,
Right.
that's
It
not
ki-
what I meant.
It kind of gives you a little bit of insight onto how he ran his Jedi Order when he was teaching all those kids. Because he might have taught them the same kind of way.
So, but the first one was
messed
that
with
the
him a little bit.
Jedi don't own the Force.
Right.
That
The
was
Force
first
is in
lesson.
everything.
Yeah, it's not. They don't have a
As far as
right to be the only
right.
ones using it.
Use the power. The Force isn't a power you own.
Yeah,
It's a power
It's
everywhere.
in between everything.
that
there.
lives in everything. The second one was that the Jedi were hypocrites who basically let basically the Jedi code is full of, hypocrisies and stuff. Because they let Palpatine, at the height of their power, they let Palpatine rise and destroy the Jedi Order and destroy themselves. So that was the third one.
That was the second one.
Second one. What was the third one?
I don't remember.
Right. I don't think he ever got around to the third one.
Did he?
I think she might have discovered that one on her own when she went down to the dark hole.
It's that, which is what? Which is
Maybe he didn't get to the third one because in the first one she was like, she went immediately to the dark side. Like, you went immediately to the dark side to find your answers.
yeah.
You
He
know,
didn't
that,
even
like,
try to fight it.
Right,
scared him.
Right, that scared him. That she would just ease.
I have to watch this
Right.
movie again. Damn it!
So what was the third lesson?
Nah.
And I'm not sure that there ever was
Was it?
one.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I mean, it could be possible that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Failure is the best
That's
teacher.
true. Well, that was Luke's lesson from
Yoda.
Yoda.
Which is actually-
which our sister thought was just cliche and like kind of lame.
But I thought it was really good.
That's Yoda.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Yoda. Have you never seen Yoda before? He's always cliche with his lessons.
But what else? what
Yoda's
other
never
lesson-
specific.
No.
What
I
other
mean-
lesson was there though? I mean, you couldn't just like make something new up. That's just a lesson of life in general. Is your failures teach you more than your successes ever will.
Yes. And like, look at his other lessons that he even teaches in, like, Clone Wars with the 3 clones in the first ever episode. He teaches them that personality is good and that you are not expendable. You know? I mean, that's a pretty simple lesson, but it's the way that Yoda tells it is the way
When
it's
when Yoda
good.
tells Luke, pass on what you have learned. He doesn't just mean the good stuff, but that's what Luke interpreted it as.
Yes.
Yes, it's also your failures. Teach
Right,
her
your bad
failures
stuff.
and what happened that way. That way she doesn't step into the same pitfalls that you stepped into.
Exactly.
But even though she'll have her own pitfalls, and it's just gonna.
Right.
And then she can teach someone else, you know.
Which also tells me that when Luke started his Jedi Academy, he didn't really go to force Yoda and force Obi-Wan for advice. He kind of just took it upon himself
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
And I think, he was teaching all those students only the good parts of the,
Yeah.
wasn't telling them about his failures as a student like them
Well, even I think Yoda kind of learned that lesson
as well.
at the end of the third prequel movie.
Yeah.
He learned that I was way too arrogant, thinking that the Force and the light side
could save everything.
and he realized that's not true.
Yeah.
And he failed.
I mean,
he learned from that failure.
Look at the very end of Clone Wars when he sees that vision of the Jedi Temple destroyed, and he sees Ahsoka lying on the ground. And I mean, that's probably one of my favorite scenes from the Clone Wars, is because it gives this, mysterious character of Yoda, like, some very good emotion that you never really see much from him. Because when he sees Ahsoka on the ground, he completely forgets that they banished her, that they exiled her from the temple, and he goes straight to her side and is like, what happened? Who did this? Are you okay? And I think she turns to him and says, like, this is your fault or something like that. Doesn't she?
I don't have to watch it again.
Yeah, I don't remember that last episode that well. But I love that scene because it's a very good scene with Yoda in it. And that was, again, that whole scene with Yoda and Luke in The Last Jedi was probably one of my favorite scenes.
I loved it. I loved seeing it was puppet Yoda.
Yep.
Yes.
It wasn't.
It was Frank
CG
Oz
Yoda. It was
And I think
Yoda.
I've realized why puppet Yoda is so much better than CGI Yoda. The reason why is because you get the little motions, the little shaking that he does. You know, he kind of shakes a little bit.
And it's more natural. You get, like, the actual hairs on his head are actually moving the way they
in the
would.
wind, and
Right. Everything is linked together.
Yeah.
Through the puppet. And it was just good to see. Like,
See
I
the
love that
puppet
movie.
again.
And I love that Luke sort of became Yoda, like an old curmudgeon. You know, like Yoda's on Dagobah forever, you know, for decades. And he becomes like this little old curmudgeon guy, like, I cannot train you, you know, and all this.
Yeah.
He's sort of...
Too old to begin the training.
Right. And Luke is the same way. He's a curmudgeon. He takes the lightsaber and he's like, throws it just like Yoda kind of throws the little flashlight behind him. I mean, it was sort of like a little nod to me. Like, I immediately, when he threw that lightsaber, like, that was just like Yoda throwing a little flashlight.
But, yeah, but for anybody out there that hasn't seen it yet and doesn't care about listening to a bunch of spoilers, this is not the same thing as the
Empire Strikes Back.
Because Yoda eventually goes, okay, I'm going to train you, and I'm going to train you, you know, to be the best. Where Luke's just training her why you don't want to become a Jedi.
Yeah.
You don't want to be a Jedi. And then, you know, at the end, then they burn the tree and all that stuff. But what's funny is Rey took all the books. The guy was talking to
books?
Somebody, or did Luke put
I don't think Rey knows they're there. I think Yoda did it.
Oh, you think Yoda did?
Yoda can manipulate the lightning to come and strike down fire. He can move those books through the Force as a Force ghost.
So you think it's him? And
I think Yoda put them on there.
Okay.
Like, I think he already pulled them out, put them on the Millennium Falcon. Knew what Luke was gonna do.
Maybe. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I thought maybe Luke, or like she did it. She just did it before she left.
And that's why it was so easy for him to burn it down. And watch Luke's reaction. Like, that was why it was so easy for Yoda to burn the Force tree down. Like, oh, the book's already there. But Luke doesn't know that. He doesn't need to know that. The books
aren't there.
It's more important for Luke to think that maybe the Jedi going away is the right thing at this moment. You know?
I don't know. Yeah.
Now, for his soul, it's good.
Because it's kind of funny, because like really, really right at the end, Finn opens up that door to look for a blanket for Rose, and you see the text in there. I just figured Rey took them, but maybe she didn't.
Yeah. To me, it didn't seem that way because she didn't react to him getting in that drawer. It was just like nothing, no big deal. You know?
Yeah.
Well, he wouldn't have known what they were though, anyway. No. So she wouldn't have bothered her. He'd probably been like, "Man, I wouldn't picture Han Solo as a reader."
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that's what Finn's reaction would have been, in my opinion.
Now,
really?
Let's go into the biggest debate: blue milk or green milk? Because he gets the green milk from
that's so gross.
he gets the green.
It was kind of funny, but it was gross. It was gross too.
But it just showed his curmudgeon side.
Yeah. And him stabbing the fish.
But he never came away from that curmudgeon side of friggin' I'm going to eventually train her. He never did it.
No.
He was always trying to tell her why she doesn't want to be a Jedi and just move on.
Yeah. And the final fight scene between Luke and Rin, where, fight scene with quotation marks.
Quote, unquote
fight scene. Was really good. I actually really liked it because, he's just dodging
all of friggin' Luke's just making him look
Rin's,
like a fool.
Yep, all of Rin's attacks.
Yeah, their lightsabers could never clash because then he would have figured it out. Yeah. He would have figured it out. So Luke had to avoid him.
Yeah.
And make it seem real, like he was actually avoiding him.
But if you notice,
just toying with him.
Luke never moves the salt on the surface.
Yep.
Kylo does. Every step Kylo takes, he moves the salt. When Luke does the same motion and gets kind of ready, the salt doesn't move.
The white doesn't move and the red's doesn't show up.
Isn't exposed. Yeah. So I caught that the very first time.
One of the things that I caught was when they're blowing him up, and then he walks out of it, and he goes like,
there's actually no dust.
There's no dust on him. Yeah, right. I was like, he should be like all red.
He should be covered with white.
Yeah.
White dust.
Yeah.
But he wasn't.
He was just perfectly pristine.
Yep.
Which made me think maybe he has some sort of like force shield bubble he put around himself using the force. And that's how he did it. But when I saw his foot move back like he was getting ready, and it didn't move the salt. But Kylo did the same thing, and it moved the salt and exposed the red surface of the planet. I knew right then, like, something's up.
You didn't know exactly what it was?
I didn't know exactly what. And why does he look so much younger? Maybe he just did his hair and put in some
hair dye in his beard.
Yeah, just for men.
Just for men.
Took off. But then I wondered, how did he get there? Because he didn't have a ship. But we saw.
Or, you thought maybe, okay, he pulled the ship up out of the water.
Right.
It still worked or whatever, even though that's probably not possible.
I mean, I thought he was going to do that eventually. He was going to pull the X-Wing out of the water, like old times, but no.
When Rey saw the X-Wing there, it was like a symbol to me that Luke never wanted to leave.
Yeah,
like, he ditched it.
Yep. Ditched
that
it,
was it.
That's it.
Yep.
He probably got out of it, and then used the Force and just dropped it into the ocean.
He never intended to leave the planet at all.
Now,
that
brings up a good question, though, of why then does he put a map inside of R2-D2 and BB-8?
To be able to find him?
And I read something on this, they weren't necessarily looking... The map is just a map to the first temple. Han says that, most people that knew Luke think he went looking for the first temple. And so what Lor San Tekka had was that little piece of the map to the first temple, not to Luke.
Okay.
So R2 had the map, that first part of the map, just like the Empire archives had the first part of that map.
Yeah.
They didn't have the part that Lor San Tekka found.
Okay, so that makes sense.
They were only looking for the first temple in hopes that Luke would be there.
Yeah, that
Not
makes
that
sense.
They knew Luke was at the end of this map.
Yeah.
And
that makes sense now.
Right. So that's why it works. And it makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah. All right, well, I think we talked this movie to death.
I could keep going.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Well, one more thing. The very ending.
Yes, the very... Oh, okay.
The little boy uses the force to pull the broom to himself.
And he's sweeping away.
Right.
And he sees that ship fly across the sky.
So, do we think...
I think that's where Rian Johnson's show's going to come from, which I don't want it to be
that,
though.
Yeah.
I want it to be something totally different.
I don't think it is.
I don't think so? Or is it just to show that there's still more people out there that
can use the force?
Yes.
And there's still
maybe a
people
little
who are with the...
And the resistance.
Yeah. Still know what the rebellion symbol stood for and stands for.
My question is, what do you think the end game is going to be for Rey? Where do you think she's going to end up after the war with the First Order is done? First Order's destroyed. If they are destroyed, who knows? J.J. Abrams could do a switcheroony and have the rebellion die. First Order wins the galaxy. Here's your consolation prize. But if the First Order is defeated and Rey is completely done, what then? What do you think? What do you want to see be her final? I would like destination.
I would like to see her and Chewie become just a team and go out into the world to do their own thing, or into the universe to do their own thing together. Kind of take the Han Solo's place with Chewie.
Kind of be like a smuggler Jedi.
Yeah, and have R2 with them, and that's it. That's just those three. That's the...
Yeah, I think 3PO has to go.
With R2?
Has to
die?
Go. Yeah, meet his
destroyed.
Maker. He can't meet Anakin, but maybe as a Force
meet his maker.
But I think because they're just underutilizing all of the, like, every single movie you get less and less, it seems, of the original characters.
I'm hoping in this last one Chewie gets a little bit more play.
Right. I'm hoping that Chewie hangs around. Like, to me, Chewie and Rey are a perfect, match.
Yeah. Yeah, they're awesome.
And R2 with them would be great.
Yeah.
Like, you just keep that little core team together. 3PO,
you know,
he could get blown up in a fight scene at some point.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't break my heart too much.
I
Because
mean, I
he's
love
just been
3PO.
underutilized. In
Yeah.
like, how many lines do they have in this movie?
Hardly any.
2?
Like 10, I think. He's like, I will not be part of a mutiny.
Right.
Worried look on my face.
You
Yes,
give him the
what
odds.
is it?
And then
He's
Master
just gonna,
Luke.
Yeah, he's becoming kind of a tired character.
Yeah.
It's always the same things with him, you know, the odds on surviving something, and
I mean, that line was
always wanting
funny.
just to kind of follow the rules and my protocol, and
That line was funny when he was telling Poe the odds, and he just kept going. And Poe's like, shut up! And
they find
he's like, to 1.
Yeah, but, like, to me, like, they're missing that part of the comedy. Like, what 3PO used to bring to the...
Yeah.
Like, him and R2 were the comedic relief, really.
Well, I mean, 3PO was just a wuss. I mean, to be honest.
I mean, I think they're just slowly phasing out. And I think in Episode 9, they'll even phase out further some of the original characters. But I hope it's just 3PO and not Chewie and R2.
Yeah.
We know Leia's gone, so...
But, okay, what do you want to see Rey be? And, like, or, you know, you can even do it with some of the other characters, like Finn, Poe, Rose.
It's hard to say, really, because do they want to make 3 more trilogies after this one?
With these
sort
characters?
of, right, but, like, way in the future, like 15, 20 years from now? You know, and bring back...
You need to keep everybody alive. If you don't, then you could probably have either Poe or Finn get killed.
And then you bring back and you kind of do the same thing over again.
I'm thinking that this might be the end of the saga.
I think so.
The 9th episode might be the end of the saga.
And I'm
And then
kind of
from here,
hoping it is.
might just be solo trilogies or solo movies
Yeah, just...
from here on out.
Yeah.
Yeah, trilogies within the galaxy that
Aren't connected to the
aren't,
saga.
like, so... Right. Like, First Order versus the Rebellion or the Resistance. You know, this versus the Rebellion, the Empire versus the Rebellion.
You just can't keep going that same well.
Right.
If you do, it's going to get stale and old. So I think, this
You're going to run out of
episode
water.
this 9th episode might be the end of the saga. And that's where Lucas kind of wanted it to end anyway.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Rey maybe just go back to Jakku at the end.
But be a junker again? Or
No.
she got to do something
Like,
besides that. Maybe,
take those people and teach them, like, things, not like the Force things, but just, like,
the universe things.
give them more hope than that they have now.
Maybe
on
come
Jakku.
back and kick Encore Plot's butt.
Maybe use, like, instead of, like, using those parts to sell off, because I'm sure that's all Encore Plot's doing is
he's just
taking
selling.
those parts, recycling them, and making money, and, like, leaving these other people in, you know, desperate times. Like, they're
Hey, give them food for work.
food portions for work. Maybe she comes back and rescues those people and takes them somewhere else. Maybe to Naboo. Who knows what she'll do. But I'd like her to see her make a return to Jakku and do something.
Yeah.
Or, there could be the, her and Chewie at the very end, like, let's find my parents. And off they go, and that's the last you see of them.
Maybe.
And that's
But
her,
then
her whole
right.
her whole rest of her life is searching for her family, or maybe not even her parents, just her family in general.
Yeah.
Does she have a brother or a sister or a cousin or an uncle, an aunt, grandparents, something out there in the universe, and she just doesn't know who
anyone
they
that
are.
she's related to, you know?
Right.
So maybe she goes back to Jakku to try to, question Encore Plot. So because now she knows he's the guy that kind of bought her, or more than likely bought her from somebody, or was given was supposed to take care of her.
Right.
Yeah.
So was given the responsibility to care for her.
See, because she didn't know that until she had the vision at Maz's castle.
Right.
Now she knows, so he would be the guy to go to for answers.
Yes.
For the real answers.
I would like to see it come full circle if they're going to wrap it up. Like, just have Rey go home and do,
Maybe it's going after Encore Plot to find out who her parents really were or what really happened to them, so she just has that closure. I don't know.
Now, what about Kylo Ren? Do you think he'll die in the 9th movie? What do you think? He's kind of a hard character to get like a grasp on as to where he's going.
Because you kind of I like Kylo Ren.
Me too.
And you kind of feel sorry for him because he's just a kid and he didn't. It wasn't like he was almost like he was forced into this.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same thing as Anakin, because Anakin was always kind of just drifting that way. And granted, the Emperor was pushing him.
Yeah, Emperor just kept
nudging him,
nudge,
little bit.
But the Jedi Order also was pushing him that way too, because they were stupid.
Yeah, they wouldn't make him a Jedi Master. They wouldn't make him a part of the council.
Yeah,
they put him on the council, but you're not a Jedi Master. They were going to train him at first.
You are allowed on this council, but we do not grant you the rank of Master.
Freaking
a Mace Windu.
That douchebag. One of my least favorite characters in Star Wars.
Anakin really killed Mace, so
yeah. But I mean,
he got his revenge.
Yeah,
but that was a little bit different because that was total freaking the Order just constantly pushing him to the Jedi Order into pissing him off.
Right.
And just by the little things they did to him throughout especially if you watch the cartoon and you watch the 3 movies, he's just constantly getting pushed by the Jedi Order towards the dark side.
Right.
Plus, he's getting manipulated by Palpatine.
Yeah, and you look at Palpatine, he had an end game. Like, he wanted to rule the galaxy as an emperor,
What's Kylo's end game? I don't know.
End game? Like,
just revenge?
What's his motivation?
But even now, what revenge on
who?
Because
once he finds out Luke is dead, or we don't think he is, but if he finds out that, Luke just vanished into the, the ether.
Who do I have to get revenge on?
Right. Who am I? Rey? Do I have to take out her because now she's a Jedi? I mean, that seems to be his only motivation is to take her out now.
Maybe that will bring up some good, interesting...
Yeah, I have no clue where this next movie's going.
Yeah,
it's because his mom's going to be dead by the time we get to this next movie. So,
and I don't think he would have killed her anyway, even if he got her on that base. Even though he said,
he couldn't do it.
Everybody's going to be dead.
He couldn't do it when he had the opportunity, so...
So if he walked into that base and she was still standing there, I don't think he would have friggin' had his troopers kill her. It wouldn't have happened. He would have no.
He couldn't even shoot her when she was on the bridge.
And he couldn't. Yeah, and he just was. Oh, maybe she's there, but he still couldn't do it because the possibility that Leia was on that bridge, he couldn't do it.
And it was his soldiers
that did it
for him.
The 2 wingmen.
Yep, that did it for him. So it is going to be hard to judge where this next movie's going.
JJ has a huge task in front of him.
Whew! Until we
Monumental.
Until we get some news.
We start getting a little news here.
Yeah, we can start speculating.
Yeah, because all the news right now is how JJ is handling the fan backlash. I don't think there's
much
huge backlash. I have issues with the movie, but I liked it.
Yeah.
Okay, final scores.
Final scores.
And then
I'll give it a 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5?
Yeah.
Alright. Let me think. You go ahead,
Are we doing
Jay.
decimals?
Yeah, you can do
you can decimals.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3.8.
3.8?
Porg screams out of 5.
The funny thing is they did a little interview with all the cast of Last Jedi, and they were trying to do their best Porg screams or whatever. I'm like, come on, man, I can do it.
Down's got it down pretty good.
I would give it, I'd probably go with, I'll go right in the middle. 3.9. Green milk tits out of 5. So gross.
Well, if we could go decimal places, I didn't know we could do decimals. I'm gonna go probably 3.9 or 3.8, somewhere in there.
Yeah, but I mean, there's parts I really love. I love the relationship between Kylo and Rey. I love their,
I love the relationship between Luke and Rey.
Really the biggest issues I have, and I need to go see it a third time, is the timing and the time structure of the whole movie.
Yeah.
It's does it really make sense?
And the whole casino scene was just lackluster. It wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be.
Right.
Well, on to the Solo movie.
On to Han Solo.
On to Han Solo. So, I hope that you guys enjoyed our review. It's definitely, I think, going to be a little bit different than a lot of other people's reviews, because you're talking to 2 people who were there when they first saw the first ever movie come out on the screen. And then you're talking to someone who has grown up with these 2. So we love Star Wars, and so I think we kind of look at it a little bit differently than a lot of people do.
But I'm not on the fanboy side where this is the greatest movie ever.
No,
it has its issues. It has pacing issues. It just has issues.
Well, we're 100% honest when it comes to this kind of stuff.
It's not going to make me not go watch another Star Wars movie, though.
It doesn't take away my love for Star Wars.
You know what?
I still love it
I'm
just as much as I did before I went in to see them.
I'm just glad, honestly, that it was another Star Wars movie.
Right.
So it can continue. So, yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed. Maybe you agreed with us, maybe you didn't. But
put it in the comments.
You know,
of course, you can't see me do that.
We'd love to hear your feedback on what you guys thought of it, and maybe we could have a nice, friendly debate in the comment section.
Right.
Yeah, if we can get people to start throwing stuff in the comments, we'll react to you.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Even if you think we're stupid, be my guest.
Yeah, go ahead.
Say so.
A lot of times we are.
Oh, yeah.
We have our biases.
So, please like, comment, and subscribe if you guys enjoyed. Jay, where can people find you?
Well, you can find me posting stuff, again, now over on our Facebook page, Red2Chatter. You can also find me on Instagram at JWilsonByDesign and on Twitter at JBird51.
I don't do social media. But I will write in the comments if people write in the comments.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll react to you.
I'll give you the password to the YouTube channel so you can do that.
Oh, you're still going to have to show me how to do it.
So you can find me on YouTube as well under Major Glitterix. I just started up Dragon Age Origins. I do gameplay videos and stuff, and Dragon Age Origins is a lot of fun. Kind of like if Game of Thrones was put in a video game format.
Sounds fun.
Very, it gets pretty political
at times.
Sex? Sometimes, well, in Inquisition there is, which I don't know if I'm looking forward to Inquisition just because I heard that the story is really good. But I'm very excited to play that game, and yeah, that's about it.
That's right. We'll be back to sort of our normal, just reviewing the news and getting ready for the Solo movie next week.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have more opinions on this movie again later,
sure.
Just because we'll go see it more than once.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Twice. We've already seen it twice.
We'll probably make a lot of references in future episodes about this.
Oh, yeah.
About this movie.
So hopefully everybody's seen it.
Yes. So, yes, please like, comment, and subscribe if you guys enjoyed again. And we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Laters.
Bye.